Let's walk on the wise path.
Welcome to a journey back to the 16th century, to the life and times of Michel de Montaigne, a philosopher unlike any other before him. Montaigne was born into a world rigid with scholastic doctrines, where philosophy was mostly a practice of repeating ancient texts. Yet, he carved a unique path, transforming philosophy into a deeply personal exploration of life. Born into a wealthy merchant family in the Aquitaine region of France, Montaigne was given an unconventional education from the start. His father insisted that he learn Latin as his first language, immersing him in classical literature from a very young age. This early exposure not only shaped his linguistic skills, but also his approach to education and knowledge, which was remarkably progressive for his time. After completing his education and serving as a magistrate, a series of personal tragedies, including the deaths of close friends and family, prompted Montaigne to retreat to his family estate. It was here, in his secluded tower filled with books, that Montaigne began to write essays, a genre that he himself would define and perfect. Unlike other scholarly works of his time, Montaigne's essays were introspective and highly personal, blending philosophy, personal anecdotes, and observations about daily life. Picture this: a nobleman, secluded in his library tower, surrounded by over 1,500 books, ranging from classical philosophy to contemporary works. In this quiet sanctuary, Montaigne reflected on subjects as diverse as friendship, education, fear, and the nature of human experience itself. His essays were not meant to be authoritative treatises, but explorations of thought, conversational, questioning, and often contradictory. Montaigne's style was revolutionary. He wrote in a candid, almost casual tone that was radically different from the formal and often pompous writing common in scholarly works of the time. This approach not only made his writings accessible, but also inviting. Readers were drawn into his thoughts, experiencing the reflections of a mind that pondered over everything from the profound to the mundane. His work was a mirror reflecting human nature in its entirety, not just the polished surface, but also the complex, sometimes contradictory layers beneath. Montaigne did not shy away from discussing his own faults and uncertainties, his fears and biases. In doing this, he showed that philosophy need not be a distant, impersonal set of dictums, but a living, breathing, and personal dialogue. Through his essays, Montaigne challenged the conventions of his day. He questioned established truths and examined everything from the customs of distant tribes to the rituals of his own society. This wide-ranging curiosity not only broadened the scope of his work, but also demonstrated a tolerance and openness to different ways of living and thinking, which was rare in his time. Montaigne's tower, his refuge from the world, was also his observatory. From it, he looked out, not just literally but metaphorically, at the world. His essays are testaments to a life spent exploring not just the breadth of human knowledge, but the depths of personal experience. In his solitude, Montaigne found a universe teeming with ideas, each one inviting a conversation. As we delve deeper into his philosophy, remember that Montaigne's legacy is not just in his creation of the essay as a literary form, but in his demonstration that philosophy can be personal, direct, and a mirror to one's own life and times. He invites us to think alongside him, to question, to reflect, and to understand that in the tapestry of human thought, every thread counts, no matter how seemingly insignificant. Stay tuned as we continue to explore how Montaigne's personal approach to philosophy offers profound insights into not just understanding life, but truly living it. Montaigne lived in an era dominated by religious and political strife, where human life often seemed fleeting and fragile. This backdrop of constant turmoil profoundly influenced his philosophical outlook. He saw firsthand that despite humanity's best efforts, much of life remained outside our control. From this realization, Montaigne developed a philosophy not of resignation, but of acceptance, an acceptance that encouraged engagement with life in a more relaxed and open manner. One of Montaigne's most significant contributions to philosophy is his skepticism about human knowledge and certainty. He famously questioned the assertions of knowledge and truth that were prevalent in his time, encapsulated in his motto, "What do I know?" This simple question wasn't a declaration of ignorance, but a radical form of inquiry that challenged the dogmatic certainties of his age. It was an invitation to think freely, without the constraints of preconceived notions and biases. Montaigne's skepticism was not about doubting for the sake of doubt. Rather, it was a tool to achieve a more profound humility and a deeper understanding of human limitations. He believed that recognizing our cognitive limits could liberate us from the burdens of excessive expectations and pressures. By accepting that we cannot know everything and that our understanding is always partial, we can approach life with a more genuine curiosity and openness. This philosophy also led Montaigne to value personal experience and intuition over abstract reasoning. Unlike philosophers who prioritized detached intellectual analysis, Montaigne found wisdom in the mundane and everyday aspects of life. He argued that wisdom doesn't necessarily come from formal education or scholarly pursuits alone, but also from ordinary experiences and interactions. This perspective made his philosophy incredibly relatable and practical. It spoke to the common man as much as to the learned scholar. Moreover, Montaigne's emphasis on personal experience highlighted his belief in the uniqueness of each individual's life journey. He argued that since each person experiences life differently, a rigid, one-size-fits-all approach to philosophy is inadequate. Instead, he championed a more personalized approach to understanding life, where each individual's thoughts, feelings, and experiences are valid sources of knowledge and insight. This personalization of philosophy is evident in how Montaigne wrote about himself. His essays are replete with anecdotes from his own life, reflecting on everything from his dietary preferences to his feelings about death and the loss of friends. Through these reflections, Montaigne showed that philosophy need not be abstract or detached from the individual. It can be deeply personal, woven into the fabric of everyday life. Montaigne's philosophical approach also embraced contradictions and changes of mind, reflecting the complex nature of human thought and existence. He did not seek to present a polished, consistent philosophical system. Instead, he portrayed the fluctuating nature of his thoughts and beliefs, illustrating that change and contradiction are natural aspects of human thinking. This openness to changing one's mind is crucial for genuine inquiry and growth. That allows for adaptation and evolution of thought in response to new experiences and information. In exploring Michel de Montaigne's philosophy, we've touched on his embrace of life's complexities and his skepticism toward absolute knowledge. Now, let's delve into one of his most liberating concepts, the art of not caring. To clarify, this isn't about fostering indifference or neglect. It's about cultivating a selective detachment that allows us to live more freely and authentically. Montaigne's life was filled with personal trials and public responsibilities, yet he advocated for a form of engagement with the world that was free from the heavy burden of overbearing expectations. This philosophy is particularly relevant in our modern era, where stress and anxiety are often fueled by our worries about how we are perceived by others and our desire to meet often unreachable standards. The art of not caring, according to Montaigne, involves focusing our energies on what truly matters: our personal growth, our enjoyment of life, and our own definitions of success. It means letting go of the obsession with perfection in every aspect of life, from our careers to our personal appearances. By doing so, we can find greater peace and satisfaction because we're no longer chasing an elusive ideal that detracts from genuine happiness. Montaigne illustrated this through his candid discussions about his own life. He openly shared his flaws, mistakes, and the everyday thoughts that occupied his mind, from the serious to the seemingly trivial. This level of honesty was unprecedented in philosophical writings of his time and showed that he truly practiced what he preached, a genuine acceptance of human imperfection. One powerful aspect of Montaigne's approach is how it frees us from the fear of judgment. This fear can be paralyzing, leading us to avoid taking risks or trying new things because we're afraid of failing or looking foolish. Montaigne, however, saw failure as a natural part of life and a valuable source of learning. He argued that being too concerned with others' opinions can distract us from our own paths and from discovering what truly brings us joy. Furthermore, Montaigne's not caring is closely tied to his concept of self-awareness. By understanding our own desires, fears, and motivations, we can better navigate life's challenges without being overly swayed by external pressures. This self-awareness allows us to make decisions that are in line with our true selves, rather than conforming to societal expectations or superficial norms. For Montaigne, the ultimate goal of this philosophy was not to achieve a specific outcome, but to experience life fully and deeply. He believed that by reducing our anxieties about outcomes, we could increase our capacity to enjoy the present moment, engage more meaningfully with others, and respond to life's ups and downs with equanimity. This approach also enhances our relationships with others. When we stop caring excessively about how we are perceived, we can be more authentic in our interactions. Authenticity fosters deeper connections because it invites others to relate to us on a genuine level, free from pretense and posturing. Michel de Montaigne's philosophy deeply resonates with the idea of embracing imperfection, a concept that he not only preached but lived. This perspective is not just about accepting that life is imperfect, but about recognizing that there is profound beauty and wisdom to be found in those imperfections. For Montaigne, acknowledging our flaws and limitations is the first step toward a genuine, fulfilling existence. Montaigne's personal writings reveal a man who did not hesitate to reflect on his own weaknesses and the ordinary complexities of everyday life. He often discussed his physical ailments, personal fears, and the various shortcomings he perceived in his character. By doing so, he dismantled the illusion of perfection that many strive for, instead presenting a portrait of a person in continuous growth and adaptation. This level of self-awareness and acceptance is what makes his work so timeless and relatable. In today's world, where there is immense pressure to present a curated version of ourselves, whether through social media or in our professional lives, Montaigne's approach offers a refreshing counterpoint. He teaches us that it is okay to be a work in progress, and that there is value in showing the world our true selves, warts and all. This can be incredibly liberating, as it frees us from the exhausting endeavor of maintaining a facade. Embracing imperfection also fosters resilience. When we accept that we are imperfect and expect the same of others, we become more adaptable to life's inevitable setbacks and surprises. This mindset prepares us to handle failures and mistakes, not as catastrophes, but as natural parts of the human experience. Montaigne himself saw these challenges as opportunities for growth and learning, encouraging a stance of curiosity and openness rather than judgment or despair. Moreover, Montaigne's acceptance of imperfection was not passive. It was an active engagement with life. He believed that by understanding our imperfections, we could better navigate our desires, motivations, and relationships. This self-knowledge is crucial for living authentically because it grounds our actions and decisions in a deep understanding of who we are, rather than in external expectations or societal norms. This philosophy has profound implications for how we relate to others. By embracing our own imperfections, we become more empathetic toward the imperfections of others. This empathy can deepen our connections, allowing for more honest and supportive relationships. It reduces the pressures we put on ourselves and others, fostering an environment where everyone can be more open and vulnerable without fear of judgment. In practical terms, embracing imperfection means celebrating the small, flawed, and everyday moments of life. It means choosing sincerity over polish and authenticity over perfection. For instance, in our interactions with friends and family, it can mean expressing our true feelings instead of what we think others want to hear. In our professional lives, it can mean admitting when we don't have all the answers, which can lead to more collaborative and innovative outcomes. Montaigne's writings challenge us to reconsider our definitions of success and fulfillment. They invite us to find joy, not in achieving perfection, but in living through the messy, imperfect, and beautiful reality of life. By doing so, we can lead richer and more meaningful lives, grounded in authenticity and enriched by genuine human connections. Continuing our exploration of Michel de Montaigne's philosophy, we delve into an intriguing aspect: the impact of nonchalance on achieving results. Montaigne's approach to life was characterized by a kind of strategic nonchalance, not carelessness, but a calculated release of overbearing concern, particularly regarding outcomes. This perspective offers a profound insight into how letting go can often lead to better, more unexpected successes. In Montaigne's view, excessive worry about outcomes can be counterproductive. It ties our happiness and sense of self-worth to specific results, which are often outside our control. This linkage creates a cycle of tension and disappointment, stifling creativity and spontaneity. Montaigne championed the idea that by caring less about these outcomes, we allow ourselves the freedom to experiment and take risks, which are essential for true innovation and personal growth. This nonchalance should not be mistaken for a lack of dedication or effort. Instead, it's about approaching our endeavors with a mindset that values process over product, learning over perfection. For Montaigne, the real value lies in the experience itself, the act of doing, learning, and being rather than the end result. This philosophy encourages a richer engagement with the present moment, making the experience more enjoyable and often leading to higher quality outcomes, because it removes the paralyzing fear of failure. Imagine working on a project or pursuing a hobby where the fear of not achieving perfection is removed from the equation. You would likely feel more liberated to experiment, to make mistakes, and to discover new paths or solutions that you would not have considered if you were solely focused on a perfect outcome. This is the essence of Montaigne's suggestion: embracing a journey-oriented approach where the unexpected can be just as valuable as the expected. Moreover, Montaigne's concept of nonchalance in relation to results has a direct impact on our psychological well-being. By detaching our ego from the success or failure of our endeavors, we cultivate a more stable sense of self that is not at the mercy of external circumstances. This stability allows us to remain calm and composed in the face of challenges, making us more effective in managing them. This approach is particularly relevant in today's fast-paced, achievement-oriented culture. The pressure to succeed and to do so visibly and quickly is immense, often leading to stress and burnout. Montaigne's philosophy offers a counterbalance to this pressure, suggesting that sometimes the best way to achieve something is to relax the intense focus on the desired outcome and instead enjoy the process. Applying Montaigne's nonchalance can look like taking a day to work without checking off any boxes on a to-do list, allowing curiosity to guide your activities. It might mean setting goals, but holding them loosely, being open to outcomes that may look different from what was initially envisioned. It's about trusting that sometimes the best results come from unexpected quarters, and that serendipity plays a role in our successes. This relaxed attitude towards outcomes does not mean we abandon responsibility or stop setting goals. Rather, it enhances our ability to achieve these goals by reducing the anxiety that often accompanies them. It fosters an environment where creativity and innovation can flourish, unhampered by the fear of failure. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed exploring Montaigne's relaxed approach to life, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to never miss a video. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Have you ever found that caring less about outcomes has actually helped you achieve more? Let's chat about it. Until next time, keep pondering, and as always, embrace the journey, not just the destination.